Hey guys, what is going on? So I just wanted to talk about kind of what my training has been and how, like, what it's going to be moving forward. So basically, I kind of got back into just doing the compound lifts like a couple years ago, but it was kind of on and off. Like I did it for a summer and then I stopped doing it, and then I restarted doing it about a year ago. I think I started actually in April of 2018. So it's been about a year. Kind of got back into, mostly squats and bench press. That's kind of what I knew. And then I kind of recently got into like overhead press and deadlift. But those were, more of like 2019 I started doing those. But anyway, I kind of built up strength that I had lost, kind of. So the strength gains that I was making in the beginning of 2018 were just kind of like regaining muscle back that I had lost. And so yeah, I basically I was flirting with like maybe a 300 pounds bench press max even when I was like 16 years old. I was always able to rep out 225 pretty easily, but I never actually like tried to hit 300 or anything like that. And so a few months ago, I was like, okay, I can rep out 225. I think I was able to do it like 15 or 16 times. I think it was 15. And I was like, I should probably be able to bench like 300. So I tried to max, and I think I either hit 280. Yeah, I think I hit 285 was my max, or maybe it was even 275. But that was like, I think I tried to hit like 300, couldn't get it, and then I started dropping down, so I was kind of fatigued. So I think my max was 285, give or take, when I tried that, and that was a little bit disappointing. So I remember that caused me to go into like a strength phase to try and do. So basically, I started doing 6 sets of 3. So I would do triples. I started off at 50% of my 1 rep max. I did this with all of the 4, so bench press, squat, deadlift, and overhead press. Now at this point, I had been doing deadlifts a little bit, but not really. And this is really how I started overhead pressing, just because I was like, okay, well, it's gonna start off really, easy because I'm going to do 50% of my 1 rep max. So I was like, let me throw an overhead press. So I tested all my maxes prior to this. So it was, like I said, I think it was 275 or 285 on the bench. 165 on the overhead press was like my starting max. Squat was 455. That was my all-time PR, but at the time, I don't think I got quite that high. So I'm not sure. And then my deadlift was like 385. So I did a strength phase. So basically, I did 50% and I just added 10 pounds onto each lift every workout until I couldn't do 6 sets of 3 anymore. So it's a very simple program. And I would do some hypertrophy work or whatever after if I felt like it. But I basically, it was like get in the gym, get out, do that. So I did this several months ago. Maybe it was around the end of 2018, maybe the beginning of 2019. I'm not 100% sure, but I started doing that. And I got my overhead press up to 185, so 20-pound increase. I got my bench up to 315. My squat went up to 465, which, is a 10-pound PR, but I think when I started, I wasn't hitting, like 455 was my PR from prior. So I was happy with that. And then my deadlift went to 405 from 385. So it was like almost all my lifts went up by 20 pounds except my squat, which went up by 10, but it was a previous PR. So I was very happy with that. And that happened, it was a very easy thing, especially in the beginning. I was basically just doing speed work in the beginning. And then as the weights got heavier, then it was a little bit more strenuous. So I did that, was like, man, so I basically was like, this is such a great workout, maybe not a great workout, but a great way to, like, if you were doing hypertrophy work before or anything like that, it was able to transfer into strength gain. So I figured, hey, let me do another hypertrophy phase. Let me try and gain more muscle. And strangely, during that phase that I was just talking about, that strength phase, I actually gained like 10 pounds during that phase. And I wasn't trying to eat in a surplus. I was actually trying to cut when I did that. So I did that because I was trying to prepare. I had this like basketball team that I was on, and I wanted to kind of just lower my weight and stay strong, but not really be sore or anything like that. So I did that, kind of finished the basketball season and everything like that. And I was like, all right, let me get back into some hypertrophy stuff. So this was, this year in 2019, I started doing that. I always start off my workouts with the overhead press, and then I would do bench press, squat, whatever. Um, or actually, I think I did my deadlifts after my overhead press. But anyway, my overhead press during this period, so this was this year, went from 185 to 215. So that worked wonders. My bench press, I was able to get my 225, as many reps as possible up to 18. So that was like a three rep PR. So that was like okay. And then when I tested my max, it was 315 again. So I was like, okay, well maybe I increased, my ability to do more reps, but my strength didn't necessarily increase because, I wasn't doing strength sets. So I was like, all right, well, I want to do another, another phase of that strength thing. So, and then with squat, I didn't do squats during this because, I don't know, my knees were kind of like not really going for it once the weight, once it started to get a little bit harder. And I was more focused on deadlift. So I actually was able to rep out, I can't remember the exact reps, but I basically would use like 315 and just rep it out. And I was able to do a bunch of reps with it. And and this was without a belt and everything. So I went back, was like, okay, I should be able to crush 405. And then I literally went back down to 385. That was my max. So that was very weird. I think I was able to do like 15-ish reps or something with 315, both sumo and conventional. So I basically, my understanding of that was, okay, I had the strength, I guess, like the leg strength, but not necessarily like the movement efficiency in my deadlift. So I was like, okay, this is going to be great. I'm going to, be able to improve my bench press a little bit. Maybe my squat, but I wasn't really focused too much on that. And just bring my deadlift up to where, it kind of should be. So I basically just kind of finished the last week or so. But I've been having some back issues in my upper back and lower back, more like mild pain, nothing, no injuries or anything like that. So I didn't do any maxes on my squat or deadlift today. But I did try my overhead press, and it was 215 again. So I was a little bit, mad about that. And it could be because I kind of have this upper back strain going on. But yeah, 215 was harder now than it was prior. So that was kind of weird. And then bench press, I threw up 295 today, and it was pretty hard. And I was like, if I get a PR today, I probably wouldn't hit a PR today. And if I don't hit 315, I'm going to feel bad about myself. So I just didn't do it. So basically, I did, all these amino acids and stuff like that, did the strength phase, did the hypertrophy, or not even hypertrophy, but just the volume phase before that. And the fact that, as far as I can tell, none of my lifts increased. Maybe my deadlift did, but I doubt it. And that just kind of was discouraging to me. So I was like, okay, was my diet bad? I was doing intermittent fasting as well as amino acids. So I can't say that the amino acids weren't effective. And it could have been that I was, the intermittent fasting was kind of limiting my protein windows, and that could have been, a problem with recovery. I don't know. So basically, I'm not doing intermittent fasting anymore, and I'm just going back to just regular diet, eating when I wake up in the morning, doing that. I'm going to stay with the aminos because I would much rather stick with aminos than intermittent fasting, because aminos are just more convenient to me. Intermittent fasting, it seems like it's going to be a good option when I try and cut, but I'm not trying to cut right now. I'm just trying to improve my strength, because that was my main goal, and the fact that that didn't happen, I want to improve my strength again. So I'm going to be going back, considering I just did a strength phase, I'm going to be doing another volume phase. But this time around, I'm just going to be doing, I'm going to be focusing on one single exercise, one compound exercise, doing accessories with that, and then doing accessories to the other compounds, but I won't actually be doing them. So for example, I'm focusing strictly on deadlift right now because that is my worst lift. So I'm going to start my workouts with deadlifts, do deadlift accessories, and then do accessories to those other lifts, but not actually do them. So that's what I'm doing going forward. It's going to be a little bit more bodybuilder style. I'm going to be doing isolation stuff, which I've never really done. I don't know if I'm going to be doing bicep curls. I didn't do anything like that today, but I did do skull crushers and stuff for triceps. And so basically I'm going to be doing, a lot of back work, and just doing deadlifts every workout and prioritizing them and putting them first. And that's really my main focus, just improve my deadlifts. And then, if the deadlift improves, then I'll probably move on to, overhead press, just because I feel like there's a lot of room for growth in that. Not room for growth as much as I just feel like I've been progressing so quickly with the overhead press that I could actually get into a much, higher level if I really focused on that. So that's basically where I'm at right now. Deadlift centric, doing bodybuilder type stuff, and I'm just going to go back to my regular diet. Like no intermittent fasting or anything like that. So that's where I'm at, and I will keep you updated.